of the things we do a lot in the turf grass pathology lab is we work with golf course superintendents to look at their overall fungicide spray program throughout the year to see what's effective, what may need to be changed out, what's going to give them the best protection against diseases throughout the year. In almost all cases, one of the staples of that fungicide program is a strong component of chlorothalonil, typically in association with a phosphite. The two most common phosphite-like products that are used are Signature Extra and Appear 2. When we think about these products, we think about them for their, for the phosphites. Typically, they will suppress Pythium diseases. They can aid in anthracnose management when you combine it with something like a chlorothalonil. And there's some evidence to suggest that those phosphites are also kind of boosting natural plant defenses. Chlorothalonil, we're all aware of what that product does. It's very effective at a lot of different diseases. As a contact fungicide, again, it's a very good staple. When we think about those two products together, one thing we typically do not think of is suppression of silvery thread moss. A couple of years ago, we had a study where we were looking at a variety of fungicide programs throughout the year, and we noticed pretty consistently in the plots that received routine chlorothalonil and a phosphite product that we had less moss than in some of the surrounding plots. That was just one study. We didn't feel very comfortable with really reporting that, so we decided to go and put out another study this year to look at that and see how it panned out. In this particular study, this is at the Glade Road Research Facility on a 007 creeping bentgrass putting green. We started off with a moss population kind of across the board of about 3 or 4% or so. Right now, I'm standing in one of our untreated plots. You can likely see in the video a lot of moss all throughout this plot. Throughout the year, of course, the moss kind of encroached the area a little bit more, got more of a foothold. By the end of the year, we're up to about 10% moss or so in this particular plot. This is one of our untreated plots, and of course, it did exactly as we expected. It did not perform very well. Right below that, we have one of our chlorothalonil phosphite combinations. This particular combination was Daconil Action plus Appear 2. We saw phenomenal results in not only keeping the moss populations at bay, but we actually noticed that from the beginning of the year to about midsummer or so, we actually were able to eliminate the moss that was in these plots. Now, do we think that either of these fungicides are directly impacting that moss? No, we don't think so. In fact, we've done greenhouse studies in the past where we've actually looked at some of these products, and there is essentially no effect on suppressing the moss. What is happening though is that combination of the chlorothalonil plus the phosphite together are knocking back a lot of those secondary pathogens, a lot of those organisms that might kind of contribute to just kind of thinning of the turf throughout the year. So we were very pleased with what we saw with the Daconil Action plus Appear 2. Now let's move up to a plot right here. This also performed very well throughout the summertime. This was Daconil Action plus Signature Extra. We were a couple of weeks behind what we saw with the Daconil Action plus Appear 2, but by about mid-August, we had completely eliminated the moss from those plots. They looked phenomenal throughout the rest of the year. Our last application was September the 11th. It's been about 1 month and we still have no signs of moss creeping back in. So are we now recommending that you go out with this combination strictly for moss suppression? No, if that's the case, you're probably gonna lose that battle. Still rely on some of the products like Quicksilver and things like that. But this is one of those things you can do to incorporate into your program to really help you keep things in check and give that turf canopy the best possible chance at preventing that encroachment as possible. Be sure to incorporate this into your fungicide program, as well as looking at some of the newer chemistries that may be out there so that you can have the best putting surface possible.